Hello, my name is HAPruitt and I'm the author of the Anelthalien series, and in this video I am going to read some of the third book in the Anelthalien series, Waterfalling. So I don't have the copies, like the actual copies yet, but I have my proof copies. So you can get the paperback version of Waterfalling, you can get the hardback version. See how much thicker it is? It has over 100 pages of bonus content, all created by me, artwork, author notes, glossary, maps, all kinds of fun stuff. Or you can get it on the ebook, and that has the color illustrations. Or you can visit my website, hapruitt.com/waterfalling, and see the color illustrations. So in this video, I'm going to read the first chapter of Waterfalling. I'm so excited. And when I'm making this video, you can buy it on Amazon. You can buy the book, the third book in the Anelthalien series. I'm so excited. Okay. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, comment on this video, and just enjoy me reading now. And yeah, I'm not doing the video on my usual spot because my baby is sleeping, and so I have to hide. So just ignore the audio and listen, or ignore the video and listen to the audio. Okay. The first chapter is called Sweets First. Carmen pushed the door open with her back and twisted to peer around the room before entering it. The thick curtains still hung over the single window. Light blue, airy versions of the curtains still surrounded the four-poster bed. Carmen smiled and slid away from the door. She noiselessly carried the breakfast tray along the short mahogany dresser until she reached the wall. After another glance at the serene bed, Carmen carefully placed the tray on the dresser, then incrementally slid aside the curtains. The single glass pane was extremely thick but perfectly clear. Carmen's smile softened into peace as the sunrise's light flowed over each occupant of the room. It illuminated the smooth finish of the dresser, then the peacock blue swirls on the floor, and finally the ethereal material around the bed. As Carmen pulled her face back to the window displaying the newly risen sun, her smile faded. Her eyes hovered on the scene for only a moment before a light groan pulled her attention back into the room. "Good morning," she hastily but kindly said. Bed cover shifted, paused, and then wildly thrashed, and a head popped out of the curtains. "Miss Carmen!" Adeline happily shrilled. The rest of Adeline burst out, and the little girl dashed over to Carmen to toss a hug around her middle. Suddenly, she squeaked, tumbled back a few steps, and curtsied. "It is a fine day in Benelux, Miss Carmen." Ella greeted her as if reciting rather than truly meaning the words. Carmen returned the curtsy, but instead of answering, just as formally whispered to the little girl, "It is a fine day, thank you, but I enjoyed the first greeting more." Adeline fell into a fit of giggles, but abruptly stopped and gasped, "The sun's up! Oh, Miss Carmen, I slept late. Miss Belinda doesn't like me to sleep late." She headed to the end of the dresser by the door, but Carmen stopped her. "Adeline, don't be upset. Miss Belinda will not be unhappy with you." "Yes, she will," sorrowfully cried Adeline, tugging at her lavender nightgown's long sleeves. "Come, let's sit on the bed," Carmen suggested, then patted Adeline on the back and steered her to the foot of the bed. Once they had sat, and Adeline wrapped an arm around one of the wooden posts, she hopefully asked, "Are you going to ask Miss Belinda to not be upset?" Carmen shook her head, then gazed at her hands folded in her lap. "Miss Belinda has gone on a trip. She asked me to wake you while she is away." "Are you going to do my etiquette lessons?" she mumbled with a frown. "Just our usual lessons." Adeline immediately straightened up and bounced in glee. "Are you going to tell me stories all day? Oh, can we take walks while you tell me stories? Can we go to the garden or in the city? Oh, or the sea, Miss Carmen?" Adeline jumped up and dashed to the window. Sitting her chin on the thin windowsill, she sighed. "Please." "Perhaps, Adeline," Carmen quietly answered, then cheerfully informed her, "I brought us breakfast." Adeline pivoted to stare at Carmen, then swirled back around to find the tray she was pointing at. "Sweets!" she practically shrieked in delight, then threw her hands over her mouth. "Yes, sweets." Carmen laughed as she calmly walked to Adeline's side to pour her a cup of warm milk. "But just today. I know Miss Belinda doesn't prefer for you to have sweets for breakfast, and we want to respect her rules because she is a good queen." Adeline's grin and reaching hand fell. She folded her arms and wondered, If I have sweets for breakfast, will I be a bad queen? Oh dear, no, Carmen gently assured her, then handed her a pastry iced with caramel. Taking a streusel-topped muffin for herself, Carmen returned to her seat on the bed. Are you sure it's all right? Miss Blenda doesn't like when I have sweets for breakfast. She says sweets are for last, not first. Carmen smiled. It is all right for one breakfast. Dropping a longing stare to her pastry, Adeline nodded, then took a bite. She plucked up her teacup full of milk and carried it over to the bed. Do be careful to not spill your cup, Carmen reminded Adeline, and the young girl switched from sitting it on the bed to holding it by the handle. After finishing her bite and taking a small, careful sip, Adeline wondered, Can you tell me a story about the Compisora or the Filmara? I like those. Miss Blenda wants me to teach you new stories. Stories you haven't learned yet. She wants you to learn as much as you can. Carmen hesitantly, but then gently added, It is only a few weeks until you become queen. Adeline smashed another bite of pastry into her mouth. Miss Blenda says I'm Webby. Are you quite excited to become queen? Carmen laughed, and Adeline's tears slid off her face. When she finished chewing, she admitted, I don't know, Miss Carmen. I don't know if I can be good like Miss Blenda. Oh, I am sure you can. Why don't you believe so? Adeline watched her feet for a while before sighing. Miss Carmen, sometimes I do naughty things. Sometimes I forget to say hello right, and I do eat sweets before last, and I think it will be very hard to never do anything wrong. Miss Blenda has taught you well. You will do fine. What if I'm not, Miss Carmen? What if I am bad? Do you think I'll have to become the bad queen if I'm bad? No, dear, Carmen told her, then thoughtfully tilted her head before continuing. I believe all this good and bad is a choice, Adeline. If you don't wish to do bad, you won't. But when I don't remember my lessons, I do wish very much, but I do wish to very much, but I don't. Yes, Adeline, but you do not mean it to be bad, do you? The little girl considered the question, then adamantly shook her head. No, I never mean it to. Then it is not really bad. You see, Adeline, we only do bad things when we mean to be bad. If we mean to do something good, then it is good. If we mean to do bad, it is bad. It is our choice what is good or bad, and our reason for doing it that makes it good or bad. Oh, Adeline understandingly replied, but her wrinkled nose signified otherwise. So, I may do whatever I like, and if I think it's good, it is? Carmen hesitated, her eyes searching the air. They halted at the window. Finally, she answered, Yes, only as long as you know as long as you believe you do it for a good purpose. So, Adeline let her wide green eyes scan the room a few times before springing up and dashing over to the breakfast tray. So when I'm queen, it can be good to have sweets first? An almost relieved sigh escaped Carmen's mouth, or an almost relieved laugh escaped Carmen's mouth as she sighed. And will you have a good purpose? Instantly, Adeline replied, Oh yes, Miss Carmen, I think sweets are very good first. So that is the first chapter of Water Falling. It doesn't have the ugly band across it in real life. It's so ugly. It doesn't have the ugly band. But that is the first chapter of Water Falling, and the ideas presented in the first chapter set the tone for the whole book. Yeah, so I don't want to say anything about the ideas presented in the first chapter. You just have to read the whole book to know everything about it. But and there's even more author notes about all the ideas presented, and this book has more spiritual messages and a lot more intertwined than the other books. The other two books kind of set everything up, and this one is where it really starts getting into the good stuff. And so there's tons of author notes about like my thoughts and my feelings about the quotes and everything says. But that's the first chapter. I hope it intrigues you. I hope you want to read the Anelthalien series, and I hope you've started reading it. If you read the Anelthalien series, please leave a review on Amazon and Goodreads. It is up on Goodreads now. Go mark it on Goodreads as want to read, and when you get it and read it, leave a review. I'd love to hear. I'm holding my book upside down and backward. I'm just so excited, and I'm just going to ramble, and so I'm going to stop the video and say just one more thing, that I have linked below the videos of the first chapter of Anelthalien and the first chapter of Earthquaking, and all the first chapters of the books go together. You probably figured that out if you started reading. So that's the last thing I'm going to say. Thank you for watching. Bye.
If you want to know more about Anelthalien or HAPruitt, please follow me on Instagram at HAPruitt. You can find me on Amazon as an Amazon author, HAPruitt. Please watch my YouTube channel and all my cool videos on my channel, HAPruitt Anelthalien. You can find me on the Facebook page, HAPruitt Anelthalien. You can follow me on Goodreads by the name HAPruitt and the book Anelthalien, or you can go to my website where so much cool stuff about Anelthalien is. The website is HAPruitt.com.